Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OK Football Show England squad special, if you can call it such a thing. I thought I'd take a few minutes just to chat to you guys all about the squad being released for the upcoming England games. They've got Andorra in a World Cup qualifier on the 7th of June before they play Senegal at the Nottingham Forest ground, City ground, on the 10th of June. And having looked through the squad, I just thought it'd be worthwhile just having a quick chat, get some of your opinions. If you're not already subscribing, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. We're growing quite quickly, which is very nice. It'd be great to have you along and see some of your comments about what you think about this particular England squad. So first things first, I'm going to go through who has been picked in Thomas Tuchel's latest squad. So starting with the goalkeepers, you've got your obvious, you've got Jordan Pickford, you've got Dean Henderson and James Trafford. So James Trafford might not necessarily be an obvious pick. He's been in unbelievable form, let's be honest, for Burnley in the Championship, setting records about clean sheets. He's been, truth be told, he's been fantastic for them this year. But the likes of Nick Pope will probably still be quite unhappy about his own position in the England squad being taken. So that'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on under Thomas Tuchel and who he fancies. But truth be told, we know that Jordan Pickford's England's number one, even despite the heroics of Dean Henderson at the weekend, as he saved the penalty against Manchester City in the FA Cup final and got himself some silverware. So fair play to him. Some of the Man City persuasion will no doubt be under the impression that he shouldn't have been on the pitch to save that particular penalty. But alas, it is what it is. We all know that VAR is an absolute shambles. So moving on to the defenders. Merseyside's favourite player, Trent Alexander-Arnold, is in the squad. Trent is joined by Dan Burn, Trevor Chalobah, Levi Colwill, Reece James, Ezri Konsa, Lewis Skelly, and Kyle Walker, who's on loan at AC Milan from Manchester City. So that's a pretty light defence. I was surprised that there's so few players, but then I think that we have to consider who we're playing, and that's not meant to be disrespectful, but it's the truth. Andorra are far from a footballing superpower, so I would not expect us to be doing a huge amount of defending. So those guys that have been picked in defence, obviously depending on the style of football that Tuchel plays and the shape that he picks, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Obviously, in the last international break, Reece James was back quite quickly after his initial injury. He's been playing since then, sometimes playing as an inverted right back and even as a centre midfielder for Chelsea. So it'll be interesting to see how he picks his team and what that squad looks like and what that formation looks like as well. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is in, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of reception he gets from the England fans. But it's quite Chelsea heavy as well. You think about it, there's three players straight in there with Chalobah, Colwill, and Reece James. Which is that a Tuchel link? I don't know. But either way, it's that's the way the defence is looking. It's good to see that Lewis Skelly's good form for Arsenal and his goal in his debut in the last international break's been rewarded with another call up. So. Into the midfield then. So we've got the likes of the obvious ones. So you've got your Jude Bellinghams of this world. You've got the Declan Rices. Morgan Gibbs-White has been given a call up, which I think is absolutely fantastic for him. I think he's been an absolute revelation for Nottingham Forest this year. He's just a very, very good player, and I hope that above all else he gets some minutes. He's being joined by Eberichi Eze. Again, FA Cup final, scored the winning goal. He's an absolute quality footballer. I've seen him over the years go through the different leagues. I think he was at Wickham. He's been at QPR, and he's a bit of a powerhouse in the Premier League now in terms of silky midfielders that you want to watch, which is rare in an era where formation and system is so vital. So I'm really pleased to see Eze in there. You've got the also exciting Morgan Rogers in there. Anthony Gordon's on the wing. Cole Palmer is in the squad list as a midfielder, along with Curtis Jones and Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher, for me, and I'll be interested to hear your comments on this, but for me, I don't mind him being the sort of defensive midfielder, which brings me to a rather substantial question, because the last midfielder on this list is Jordan Henderson. Now, what, uh, what is he doing there? I don't get the benefit in this particular set of games where you're playing against Andorra and you're playing in a friendly against Senegal. What on earth is he doing there? Like, I just don't get it. You've got the likes of Adam Morton, who's been left out. Again, another FA Cup winner, and let's face it, Adam Morton has been fantastic for Crystal Palace since his move there. His trajectory of how good a footballer he is, it is quite staggering, really. He's been lauded as a potential signing for the likes of Manchester City. He keeps the ball ticking over. He's strong in the tackle. He is Henderson from 10, 12 years ago. I just don't get it. And people will say, oh, it's because of a leadership thing, because Jordan Henderson's good in the squad and he'll help stitch things together. There's an element of truth in that. I understand that he's a good communicator on the pitch and he could be good in the squad. Let's face it, I don't know what the squad looks like in the background and what the vibe is like in the camp. But I just feel like this is an opportunity to utilise the likes of Adam Morton and see if he can step up into that role. Because let's be honest, Jordan Henderson plays for Ajax and they are an absolute shambles. They needed 6 points, I think it was, from the last 5 games in the Eredivisie. And they've stumbled. Like, if Henderson is that good of a leader, why didn't Ajax win the league? You know, and it's a team game. I'm aware of that, but it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me how he's in the squad. I want to trust Tuchel. I do. I want to think that he's going to be going all out for the World Cup and that he's got this master plan. But Jordan Henderson, good communicator. Not entirely sure that his knees and engine are up to it anymore, and I just feel like players like that need to be phased out rather than continuing to linger around the squad. So that's my opinion. In terms of attackers, we've got our record goal scorer Harry Kane, Noni Madueke continuing the Chelsea link, Bukayo Saka, Ollie Watkins, and then rather interestingly, Ivan Toney's got a call up from Saudi Arabia. So I understand that he's won the equivalent of the Champions League in that part of the world, and fair play to him. He's only 29, but it's a bit of a strange call up, and it's a weird one. Maybe, just maybe, that area of the footballing world is producing a high quality of football. I don't know. You'd have to ask Thomas Tuchel, but I find that one a bit of a strange one. Personally, I would prefer to see Solanke in the squad. He's just come off the back of winning a European trophy with Spurs. But what my understanding is that Thomas Tuchel said that he knows about Solanke, he's seen him play, and he's sort of playing around a bit. If you're playing around a bit, don't pick Jordan Henderson. Come on, don't pick Jordan Henderson. So I'd like to think that that's the case as well, by the way, for Jared Bowen. I'd like to think that he's missed out because Thomas Tuchel knows what the guy is about. Because, I mean, his goal-scoring record for West Ham, I think is something along the lines of, and I'm speculating here, but it's something along the lines of 40 to 45% of West Ham's goals he's been directly involved in this past season. So why isn't he in the England squad? I don't. That baffles me as well. And like I say, I hope it's because Thomas Tuchel knows what he's about. And that he's a given. So we'll see how that one pans out. There's another player that I think will be an absolute shoo-in in the squad moving forwards, and I think that it's probably because it's been the end of a tough season, and my understanding is that he had a minor eye injury during the FA Cup final, and that's Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey, I would argue, is probably our strongest centre-back, captain of Crystal Palace, and truly flies under the radar a little bit, but a very, very high quality footballer. And I'm sure there'll be a queue of people trying to sign him this summer. And hopefully for Palace, they'll manage to keep him. They've shown that they can win silverware, so you never know. But he's one that I'm almost certain will be back in the squad ASAP. And then you've got the other sort of main headline, and it sort of shows a little bit of a changing of the guard in some ways, is that there are nothing no Manchester United players, no Luke Shaw, thank goodness, because that guy is a absolute state of a footballer. No Maguire, which I'm surprised about considering, like I said, how light we are in defence, and no Kobbie Mainoo as well. That's in addition to Marcus Rashford, who in only a couple of weeks will technically be back as a Man United player when his loan spell ends at Aston Villa. So no Man United players, and I think that kind of shows just what an absolute disaster class that Ruben Amorim has provided for Manchester United since he took over. I mean, he's got a record that is very, very close to, if not worse than Paul Jewell that took Derby down with only 11 points. The guy's only accumulated, I think it's 9 points in his time at Man United, and they've basically beaten no one above the relegation zone. They're an absolute disaster zone, are Manchester United at the minute. And in a weird way, I think from Thomas Tuchel's point of view, when we're looking through a lens of England fans, you don't want that negativity around. I can totally understand it. You want those players that know how to win games and that they're used to success. And again, going back to the argument about Ivan Toney, maybe that's the reason why he's in there instead. So I think that's probably fair play on that one. But there's also no Phill Foden. Phill Foden's another funny one when you think about how his season's been, and he was PFA Player of the Year only a year ago, tearing things up, but never really quite does it for England. So it's not one that I think that many people are going to particularly miss. And then you've got the final debate for England, which seems to be going on and on and on. And I'm of the opinion, sod him. To be honest with you, if you don't want to play for England, regardless of who the manager is, you don't want to play for England. Don't belittle the dreams of most little boys and fully grown men in terms of being able to play for England. And that's Ben White. Now, he's come back over the last few games for Arsenal, and the current excuse is that he's due to become a father in the upcoming camp. But I just have no time for him, personally. I don't think he's to a level where I'm really gutted that he's not going to be in the squad. I think when you look at our options at right back, and yes, Reece James has issues with injuries, but you've also got Trent Alexander-Arnold in there. You've got Kyle Walker that can play right back. I just don't see the furore around why Ben White is such a big thing. I know I'm talking about it. I'm being a bit of a hypocrite, but my point being is that I just don't think that he's world class enough to be worried about whether he's in there or not. So go and have your baby. Congratulations. Good luck to you. But I don't really want to hear your name in the conversation for an England squad again. I just don't want your disrespect for England's national team to be a thing. So on that rather moany bombshell, I'm going to draw this this podcast, this show to a conclusion. But give me your comments. Tell me how far off the mark you think I am. Am I absolutely missing the point with some of these squad picks? Am I way off of it with Jordan Henderson? And does he bring enough to the squad to warrant him being in every single squad? Because that's what I'm trying to get at. Like I say, looking at that, the opposition, does he warrant that gap rather than Adam Wharton in particular? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope that you will have a wonderful summer this weekend. There's the playoff finals throughout the leagues. So best of luck to all of those competing. I look forward to being able to speculate about where various teams are going to be playing next season. And in the interim, until next time, take care and like and subscribe.